Good afternoon. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are on planet Earth. Just pinning up the question of the day. Hello, so good to see you. Today we're talking about leveling up, what it means to level up in your life and your business. And in particularly today, I'm going to talk about embracing isolation and loneliness in order for you to be able to evolve. Um, why is this particular topic important to me in particular is because I've done a lot of things to be able to separate myself from other people so that I can sort of get a better handle on what it is that I want in my life. Um, and I'm glad that I did and didn't listen to some of the other people that were around me and they didn't really get the vision for what it is that I was going for. It really takes a person with a lot of, you have to be very clear on what it is that you want and being able to stand on the ground of what it is that you want and be able to move forward with that. A lot of people don't do that in their life. Um, and when you speak to people, you'll be able to figure out why that doesn't happen for them. And for me, it's because they don't spend any time in focused isolation. So one of the best things I ever did for myself was to move out of the country. I'm an American, of course, and I've lived in 7 different countries um, since I've been overseas. I originally moved from the US in June of 2018, and it's not in July of 2018. So it's my 5 year travel. In 2 days, it'll be my 5 year travel anniversary. And so I'm excited about that. And what I was doing when I left the US, even though maybe I didn't really even see it that myself is doing that when I originally left, was I really I needed some space to be able to hear what it is that I wanted to be able to do. I needed to be able to get in touch with my own voice, get in touch with my own voice. A lot of people don't take the time to do that because Americans are so busy. We're running around, trying to get stuff done. For me in particular, I was very involved in the lives of other people trying to get their stuff together. Um, and I allowed them to be able to tell me that what I wanted was not important, or that I already had enough, or I didn't need any more. Um, I didn't need any more of what it is that I wanted. I should be focused on other people, which isn't true. You have a right to want what it is that you want, and to be able to spend the time that you need in order to get there. Um, I needed some time to be able to spend on my own health. What I've learned is that my health is really my own responsibility. I had all these people, tugging on me and trying to ask, trying to have other people help them to get what they need, and my own health is deteriorating. I used to work in the field of education, working with a lot of adults who needed a lot of help. And working in the education system, of course, all of these adults, they were coming to the right place to be able to help them. And I absolutely loved being of help to people. However, what I was doing in the process of trying to help everybody else, I was letting my own needs fall to the wayside. Um, and I can go into all the reasons as to why I was doing that. But really, I want to stick to the topic of the conversation for today, was that I needed to spend time on my own health, and also to be able to learn what it is that I wanted for myself out of my own life. I thought I did. I thought I knew what I wanted. There was a point in time where I wanted to be like a community college president or something of that nature. And I wanted to do that because I thought that I wanted to be at the highest level of working in a community college. I had, gone to get a PhD in a PhD program and everything. Got there and realized that this was not the place for me. I got what I thought was the job that I really wanted, and I really wanted this to be sort of like a foundation for what it is that I wanted to learn. And I looked around and all the people around me, and I realized, yeah, I don't really want you all's lives. You look at the higher ups of people that you were working with, thinking that I was going to be able to find a mentor. And what I found was just like a lot of older women who were just sort of using themselves and abusing themselves in this sort of the same way that I was doing. But I was just maybe a couple decades younger than they were at the time. So isolation really works. When you isolate yourself, um, you really get a chance to be able to learn a lot about yourself. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Halana, that's all well and great for you, but I can't pack up and move to another country because of X, Y, and Z. And I hear you. And so I really sat down and I thought about where else in my own life was I able to isolate myself so that I can even get to the decision to even pack up to leave the country. Um, because the truth is, I didn't just pack up one day and, just say, F it, I'm going to go and live somewhere else. There were things, smaller things that I did in order to get to the point where I can really isolate myself. When you're in another country, you're truly isolated. You can really pick your own environment. Um, but I didn't just do that in one fell swoop. So, what were the smaller things that I did in order to isolate myself so that I can have focused time and energy on myself? Number one, I used to use my lunchtime when I had a job. When I had a job, I used to use my lunchtime to my advantage. And you can do this with any amount of lunchtime that you have. I've had jobs where I only had 30 minutes. I've had jobs where I only barely got an hour. You know, these days, if they give you a whole hour to be able to enjoy your lunch, you're lucky. Um, what I would always do is I would use my lunchtime to be able to read books and listen to audio books or things on YouTube that were interesting to me. I would listen to motivational stuff. I would listen, I would find stories of people, either historical figures or current people, um, you know, people who were doing really well in business. And I had no idea how to be able to do that, be able to get there because I wanted to be, what I really wanted to be was just a writer. I wanted to be able to find a way to make a living out of my writing skills. And of course, the what people usually say about people who are writers is that if you choose a career as a writer, you're also choosing to be poor. And that never sat well with me. I've always wanted to be able to live a really great life, um, making money using a skill that I really love, which is writing. So I would use my lunchtime to read books, listen to audios. I would go outside and walk in the sun. Why? Because it helped me to keep my mind together. It helped to lift my spirits. After a full day of sitting, in an air conditioned cubicle with no windows, you sort of get a little bit sad and you already don't want to be there. So you're sitting there working in an environment that's not conducive to what it is that you want to do or who it is that you want to become. So you have to make it so. And so I would take if I had an hour lunch, I would eat whatever I needed to eat. in 30 minutes, and then I would go outside and walk for another 30 minutes. That was what I had to do for my own mental health. And of course, people always had something to say about it. I had a few people who, of course, these were other Black people, who would sit there and they would tell me, "Oh, you're out there walking in the sun, you're getting too Black." And I would just sort of laugh, ha, 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 and I would continue with my daily walks because I know that doing those walks was what was keeping my mind together. I was listening to other people who sort of fit in with where it is that I was going. So I would listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks, um, and a few other people that would sort of help me to learn how to envision the life that I wanted while I was walking in the sunshine, which was increasing the serotonin in my brain. I did a video yesterday where I was talking about how walking increases the serotonin in your brain, which is the happy hormone. So rather than sit around and focusing on the fact that you don't want to be at the job, you can focus on where it is that you're going and how the money that you're making in this particular job is going to move you to the vision for your future that you actually want. So walking in the sun, I would make sure that I would always eat well. Eating well is so important, and I haven't always done such a great job at this. Like, people see me now, like some of my family members and old friends, and they can't believe the how my life choices has really reflected in the way my body looks, like just physically, in my level of happiness. Uh, I've lost in the last few years about 100 pounds plus. It's a lot of weight. And so, so even in the early days when I had a job, I didn't just wake up one day and decide that I wanted to lose the weight. I knew that I wanted to be healthier and that eating well was a part of this. In order for me to be able to keep a business, to have the energy to be able to keep a business, you have to be healthy. And so, eating well was a big part of that. And I had to learn how to eat well. I had to get up and I learned how to cook. I had to get up and figure out what it meant to go to a farmer's market and pick out fresh fruits and vegetables. I didn't know how to do that. I wanted to learn how to make things from scratch instead of, eating things out of a box and going to the fast food place every day. So all of those things was really important. And of course, once again, people always had something to say while I was learning how to be able to eat well and do all those things for myself. Um, there was one woman, one of my coworkers, um, we got towards it was a 1 year contract situation. And she comes up to me and she says, uh, she was wondering what I was doing during my lunchtime because we would all sort of work together in one little space to be able to get the project that we were working on done. And as soon as 12 o'clock hit, I would take my stuff, go outside, separate from everybody else, while everybody else was still sort of sitting in the same air conditioned cubicle spot, um, for the remainder of their lunchtime. I would go outside, I would sit in the sun, I would have my salad, I would, be chopping up my cucumbers and my carrots, and I had like um, a homemade dressing that I would put on there, and I have made like a small piece of salmon or something to put on there, and it was just a really nice time for me. And I would go out there and read. Um, and of course, at the end of this project, one woman came to me and she said, "Oh, I thought you just didn't like white people." And I'm like, people take your behavior, your actions to be able to take care of yourself personally. A lot of people are going to do that. Your friends, your coworkers, your family, everybody. They take your choices to take care of yourself personally when really it had nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with them at all. I was just taking the baby steps at the time. These were the baby steps that I was taking to be able to learn how to take care of myself first so that I can do better. I can make better decisions that would lead me towards the life that I wanted. Um, so, yeah, people are going to be pissed off. Let them be pissed off. You owe these people nothing. You owe these people nothing. You deserve to have the sort of a life that you want. If you want to be a freelance writer, if you want to be a world renowned expert in whatever it is that you do and be able to write books, and you want to be able to help people all over the world with your particular gift, if you want to be able to write poetry, you should be able to do all of those things in a way that makes you happy. So don't even give them any explanation. Next thing I would do to be able to make sure that I isolated myself, I would spend my money on conferences or some sort of like a group coaching class. Whether it's in person is great, but if you can't do that, online also works. And if you're doing this with other people, how is this isolation, Halana? It's isolation because you're isolating yourself from people who don't think the way that you do. You need to be able to put yourself around people who are of like minds. That's super important. You need to be in spaces where people have similar goals, they have similar viewpoints, and they're not going to give you a bunch of headaches thinking that you're better than them. And it's generally it's none of that. It's really you just focusing on you, but um, they take your interest in focusing on yourself, and they make it about them. So just focus on yourself. Spend money on conferences, spend money on the group coaching classes, and be around like minds. Because when you're around like minds, that's really just more evidence of the fact that what you want is available to you. Because in your regular everyday life, you're the only one there. You're the only one in that space. No one is thinking like you. I totally get it. And it's a really isolating, lonely feeling. So go isolate yourself with other people who also feel isolated. And then my final tip for that would be to you've got to take care of the type of environment that you create for yourself. So even if you have a regular 9 to 5 job or whatever hours it is that you're working, make sure you show up for work on time, but also do a great job. That's very important. You want to make sure that you do a great job. And then number 3, you want to be able to make sure that you leave the job on time. We're not doing overtime. You're not spending any extra time than what is absolutely needed. If your job is 9 to 5, you arrive at the job maybe at 8:50 in the morning. If the job is over at 5, start packing up 5 minutes to. We're not doing any overtime. We're not hanging out. We're not trying to be of extra support. We're not working on extra projects that don't have anything to do with your job title. We're not doing any of that foolishness. You're going to show up for your job, do a great job, and then leave. After that, you're going to go and you're going to work on your business. You're going to work on writing your book. You're going to go work on, writing your poetry. You're going to go work on putting together your writer website. You're going to go work on your YouTube videos. You're going to go work on any part of your social media presence. You're going to go work on writing blog posts for yourself or other people or finding new clients, any of that stuff. We're not hanging out after work to go to the happy hour. Unless you feel like your next client is going to be at that happy hour, there's absolutely no reason why you need to be there with the coworkers you don't even want to be with anyway. Why are we there? Why are we there? Just say thank you. I got to go and I have an appointment. And you do have an appointment. You have an appointment with yourself. Even if you're just sitting at your desk by yourself doing the work that you need to do, go ahead and get it done. So, my final word for the day is this: that success belongs to you. However, it's your responsibility to create the container. Success belongs to you, but it's your responsibility to create the container that your success is going to come in. You get to dictate to the universe what it is that you want. And even when you don't dictate to the universe what it is that you want, you're telling the universe that you'll just take the default. So, if you know that you have a 9 to 5 job and you have hopes and dreams and aspirations of being a writer, um, what can you do outside of those hours that you're working? You show up for your job, you do a great job. Before and after that job is over, your time belongs to you. Your health belongs to you. Who it is that you spend your time around belongs to you. What it is that you are listening to, that choice all belongs to you. What you watch on television, that choice belongs to you. Okay? So, my name is Halana Black. If you are interested in being um, a freelance writer, or if you want to be able to get better clients in your freelance writing business, then I want to invite you to set up an appointment with me. I can help you one on one with helping you learn the business tactics that I use to be able to go from literally being paid $9 for a blog post, and now I get paid between $500 to $1,500 for a blog post. And if you already have your freelance writing business in place and you're not making those sorts of, um, you're not making that kind of money in your freelance writing business, then I can help you with some tweaks in mindset as well as in your marketing system that will help you get better results. So before we go, if you could put in the comments, what could your life look like if you spent more time in focused isolation? What could your life look like if you spent more time in focused isolation? Go ahead and put your comments in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe this live stream for the day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.